All right, San Francisco, we're back with the Giants. A struggling start to the year three, where we were hoping to be in a competitive playoff spot, forcing us to make changes early in this year. And we're going to the Rangers. They are in a not in a playoff spot, but they're not short out of a wild card and definitely looking to make some changes here as well. Wyatt Langford hasn't really had the playing time there in Texas, and he's having a struggling start to this year. So is Yoshida for us. We traded for last year. We're supposed to be a contact guy at the top of our lineup. Got off to a good start and has just been ice cold ever since. We need to move on from him. His $18 million helped free up some salary. He does have a year left of control that'll help the Rangers kind of replace him, kind of, one for one, more of a veteran. And we're getting some capital back in Langford. And then we're also going after Sebastian Walcott, who's actually dropped off in his potential there. So he might need a change of scenery as well, but just another prospect for us to bring back since we're giving away Lucas Giolito as well, a starter we signed last year who we were hoping would be a stabilizing force as our number three. Has just been the complete opposite. A 4.6 plus ERA in his 1.5 years here in San Francisco. We need more of that. We can get that same amount of production, in my opinion, out of Birdsong and Wissenhunt and give those guys a chance to grow. So we're going to go through with this. I think it'll at least push us into a better spot for this year. I don't know if we'll be able to make the playoffs where our record is, but we may as well go through with this, and I'll bring you guys along for the ride for some of these roster moves now that trade has gone through. So we'll bring up Carson, finally getting his major league debut here. Bring him up. Dustin Fletcher still pitching well there in Double-A. We'll leave him for now. Looks like Whitman can be the guy who gets moved up to Triple-A here. And then starting pitching-wise, I believe that's everybody. We'll just throw him into Double-A to help shape up the rosters. So now we go over to left field. We have Langford up here now. And then shortstops, Walcott actually can get sent back down to AAA, where he can play down there. I know we have Art Dehania there as well. Let's have him be our everyday Double-A shortstop to start, and we can make adjustments from there as needed, as Earnhardt is not the guy you really want and expect to be there. So let's go ahead and make some of these changes. We'll go to the lineup. We'll get Wyatt Langford in there, actually as the DH still. Like that a little bit better. And then versus lefties, yeah. So, I mean, he's going to be a corner piece of this team, and we'll see what he can kind of turn into here. I know some of these things got a little jumbled up with some of the changes. Make sure some of these lineups are a little bit better organized. Sable, Ciano, okay. All right. AAA should still be fine other than the pitching. Yep. Go through and change that real quick. All right, and then Double-A, we'll need to get in Walcott in there as our shortstop. Can slide him up the lineup. Bet him sixth. All right, so that should help the minor leagues out as well. We get some prospect capital there. Just quick touch on the pitching staff. Yeah, those guys are really pitching that well. Do we have anybody else in here? Go to long reliever. Okay. Here we go. Major League. We'll give Wissenhunt his start. And then Wynn or Whitman. We'll throw Whitman in there. How about that? Okay. So that's the trade. That's the moves. A couple guys coming off the injured list here in a little bit. We're going to see if we can get anything good out of that. So we do get a win after that trade and lose 3 straight. Yeah, we are not making the playoffs this year. Let's do a real time, quick manage here for Wissenheim. Let's see what actually we'll let him. I changed my mind on that. We'll just not touch him and just see what the manager does. In his first major league start, doesn't look like it went that well. Keep Chapman on the injured list, and he's still injured. Place on bench. Let's take a look. 4 innings. Oops. 4 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. Yeah, not a great start, but nothing's really going well for us as an organization right now, to be honest with you. And I'm also going to turn on scouting onto auto here. If you can't tell, we're a little frustrated with this team and this season and how things are playing out. It's just nothing seems to be going right for this team and this franchise at this current moment. And that's a problem because we were supposed to be a playoff team this year. And when we can't even, be around 500, it's an issue. So get through June here. Santander's back. Okay, so now that makes things interesting. Matos. Yeah, I think Heliot Ramos is the odd one out. Throw Matos over and right. Get Santander in there DHing. I'll actually drop Yandy Diaz down a couple spots since he's struggling this year. Okay. And then same thing. Castro's actually been hitting pretty well versus lefties. See if there's anybody else. I don't want to take him out. Yeah, may as well. Get Santander in there. Okay. Do we have Heliot Ramos in there? Did I miss that? No. Okay. All right. Let's see now that we're healthy after the trades. If we can have a monster June, make things interesting come July. Place him on the bench. Keep him active. Place him on the bench. Let's make sure we get Eldridge in there. He's having a great year in AAA. So that's a positive. Gavin Lux tore his hamstring. Wonderful. It's getting to that point, man. Can't go wrong. Kind of will go wrong at this stage. All right, we'll see what that does to our team. Westberg traded to the Dodgers for Tommy Edman, Stone, and Wagner. Okay. Seems like a big trade there. Swept out by San Diego. Can't beat a really crappy White Sox team. Cubs, 500. Gosh, all these injuries, man. Autofix. Isaiah Suzuki gets traded to the Cardinals like they needed more outfielders. We looked at that last video. All right, let's just go to the draft. No reason to waste time with this one. Angels go with an outfielder. Number 1 overall. Who's that? Tampa. Third baseman looks to be pretty good. And the Royals grab a catcher. All right. I'm just going to go through this pretty quickly, not bore any time with the video. Shout out anything at the end. All right, so that was the draft. Pretty simple. Grabbed a couple pitchers, a couple outfielders. No one really game shaking there. Dugo gets traded to the Angels. Okay. All right, that's what I was waiting on. So we'll take a quick look at the All-Stars. Looks like San Diego had a bunch there. No pitchers for us. Matt Chapman got on here. Probably will be our lone All-Star. Yep. Okay. Keep it moving here. Rubio, Castillo, switch them. Maybe we can try and sign right away. Nope. We can wait on this guy's okay. Another big trade here is the Pirates get Logan O'Hoppe for a couple of major leaguers. That's a weird trade. That's all I can say to that one. That one feels weird to me. Okay, yada, yada, yada. Looks like we're going to be sellers once again at the deadline. Signed all our draft picks. Nolan Gorman traded again over to the Mariners. Couple of prospects there. Keep simming. Cardinals want Camilo Duvall. Interesting. Pitching prospect, 25. Not really much there. And then Travis Honeyman looks to be a decent outfielder, but we already have plenty of guys that are kind of like that. Not worth giving up one of our best closers who we have on a cheap contract. And here we are. So trade deadline, 11 games under 500, 11 and a half back of a wild card. Take a look at who is leaving this team. Yandy Diaz, we could try and get something for. Braxton Garrett's having a really good year. Could probably trade him away for some pieces. Scott Barlow, also having another great year for us. Okay, so let's see who could be in the need for a first baseman here. Veteran and Yandy Diaz, who's pulled together his year. Take a quick look, just looking for top of the list. White Sox contenders. Twins, they could use some help there at first. Okay. What do they have? We want to take on another studded closer here. I like that move. Any other pitching prospects we could try and bring on here? Is that going to be too much value? Kershaw can kind of play everywhere. We grabbed him instead of the closer. No. They like him. Looks like that would have to be 1-for-1. Doesn't look like they're willing to really part ways with anybody else. Jeez. Plethora of riches at short, that's for sure. Could go out and try and grab Brooks Lee. In a way, it would make sense for them. Who they have. He's a versatile player. Trying to think of where we would play him. Luciano's at short. He could play second. Could slide him over to third to take over for Chapman. Interesting play. Let's see. They would be interested in making that deal. I like Brooks Lee over the closer. I do. And it makes more sense for them. We'll make that trade. Let's go through these lineups real quick. Brooks Lee, you can be on the bench. Get Michael Busch in there at first. And then, yep, you can definitely hit versus lefties there for Castro. And you can get in for Rojas here as well. I forgot about that. First base again. Let's give it to Michael Busch all the way around. Just see what he can do. Okay. About it. Fine with that trade. Let's just get this season over with. Is kind of where my head's at. Von Brown's injured. Jefferson. Yeah, just let the computer take care of it. Just punting on this year. Keep him there. Probably gonna have to make a roster move, I'd imagine. No, we're actually okay. Looks like he's hitting very well. Santander, Busch, Chapman, Luciano's actually not. Kevin Lex was having a really good year. Decisions. I'm having a real hard time deciding what to do here because I want to get Gavin Lux back into the lineup. Let's just do this. Don't love it, but it's what we're going with here. At least for a couple games. And so this is how the season ends. We finish with a record of 76 and whatever 86 that is. A little bit of a run there with some of the young guys. We're just going to sim through these playoffs, look at these awards then, and have a conversation with the owner and see if I still keep my job as the GM. As the Diamondbacks win the World Series over the Yankees, sweep them out. They've been threatening for that championship trophy for a couple years now as Gabby Marino takes home the World Series MVP. Rafael Devers, if you remember, they brought over a couple years back. Big trade for them. They go out on top. So your past few winners have been the Rangers, technically going back-to-back, the Tigers, and then the Diamondbacks here. Take a quick look at some of these awards. Some Silver Sluggers. A couple of guys getting their names in there, but no winners. for the Giants. We'll see if we got any gold gloves. All right, nothing that crazy there. Looked like some guys had some good growth overall. See what this team has done. Corbin Burns is kind of falling off here, even though he had a strong year. He's been doing well. Logan Webb entering one of his final years of his contract, still pitching well. Kyle Harrison, slowly but surely getting better. Better numbers. Braxton Garrett actually had an incredible year for us. It's a shame we couldn't get to the postseason. Birdsong struggled but grew. Wissenhunt got in the same way. Bryce Eldridge will be threatening for a roster spot next year. Dustin Fletcher, some good growth. Okay, a couple of the C prospects. See how the bullpen shaked up. So Kerchak, not the best, but Bummer consistent. Barlow's been consistent. Stefan, just not a great year from him. You expect more out of that. Mercer grew. Mitch Bratt in his 1.1 innings pitched well. All right. It's the bullpen. Camilo Duvall, decent year. Down year from last year. And Estevez, you'd expect a little bit more out of him. Jones is growing. Where's Patrick Bailey's numbers sit on the year? So slowly, getting a little bit better offensively each year. It's kind of what we hope. He is only 26 still. Blake Sable had a pretty strong year. We still have Logan Porter down here who did really well in AAA. Sagusti, all right. Michael Bush, decent growth there. Out of him, not the numbers you'd want. Definitely still not an everyday first baseman, in my opinion. Gavin Lux was a great offseason pickup for us. Wish he would have been healthy all year. But he played really well. Adolfo Castro, okay. Real good growth from this prospect. And Von Burke, love to see that. Matt Chapman had a really strong year, kind of resurgent year, what we needed from someone like Matt Chapman to get us in the playoffs, but we didn't get any of the other pieces to step up. Josh Rojas, utility guy, okay. Casey Schmidt. Don't really have much here in third base. Shortstop. Ciano, okay. Decent growth. Still trying to find his way offensively there. Maybe we can spawn that with some training. We pick up Brooks Lee as some insurance there. Artejena, some good growth. Sebastian Walcott as well. Okay. So now we have a plethora of shortstop prospects to help us. Wyatt Langford, some good growth out of him. 20 home runs. You're going to need that. Colin Barber, just Pinder, okay. Lloyd German. Young-Hoo Lee had a bounce back year as well as Matt Chapman. Two guys we needed to go, and they went. Just not in the overall direction you'd hope. Elliot Ramos, down year compared to last year. Christian Vaccaro, okay. Santander fell off a little. Von Brown and Grant McCray. All right, let's get to the off season here. Nobody going into the hall. Exclusive free agents. Scott Barlow, I feel like it would be foolish not to try and bring him back, although he is asking for $5 million. I'll offer him 5 for now. Rojas, Streffen, yeah, love to bring him back. I feel like I've seen him be successful in the past, but it's just not working out. Okay, pitching coach. Let's try and get a good one. First base coach. There's no minuses. Boost to the speed. Okay. course he took them. Ay, ay, ay. The boring parts of the franchise mode. All right, free agency. What do we have on our team? What do we need help with? Starting pitching. Still like it. Still think we're pretty strong in what we have. Could even make a trade to upgrade there. Bullpen is fine. Could use some help, but it's fine. Catching, we're fine. First base, we could use help. Second base, we're good. Third base, I think we're fine. I think we're good in the infield now. If you want to run Wyatt Langford out there, Young-Hoo Lee deserves center field. Matos played well enough. Santander here, who's still hitting pretty well. I mean, if you were going after a DH or a first baseman here, what do we have? Lots of starting pitching options where the bullpens really get built up. Some big name catchers. Yandy Diaz. I mean, still really nobody here at first base who's really like a wow factor. If you wanted to platoon Bell and Michael Bush, you could. Santander can also play first base, so that's an option. Second base, we don't necessarily need the help. Same thing, I would argue, at third. Jeremy Pena, okay. Shortstop. Stephen Kwan's an interesting one. Very capable offensively and defensively. Help solidify the top of our lineup. Luis Robert, a little more thump in there. 103 RBIs. Okay, and Seiya Suzuki as well. All right, so we have some options, some things to pick on. Yeah, this is kind of a make or break year. Next video might just be the whole shebang of the off season and the regular season sim, and depending on how things go, we might get fired. We might push ourselves into the playoffs for once. So another disappointing year for San Francisco. You can say I'm on the chopping block for sure. Here, as the GM, it's a critical offseason, not only for us, but for myself personally, to keep this job. And we have a lot of decisions to make. We'll get to that in the next one.